for the next couple weeks, we will be reminding all our listeners of our Mother's Day shout out. So we always say Wine Time is our mom cast. So we want to hype up the moms. This Mother's Day, we want to give you all the opportunity to shout out the moms in your life.
Send us an audio clip or a message you want us to read out loud on the pod with a shout out for that special mom, whether it's your own mom, a mom friend, a mom teacher, or any other mom you want to show that love and appreciation to. And what we're going to do is put it all together for a special Mother's Day episode coming your way.
Welcome to
Wine Time. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
Where two moms will pour a drink,
Espresso, wine, cocktail, who knows,
and tell you stories
or complain
about moms. You will get the good,
inspirational, uplifting, encouraging,
the badass,
we all know a badass mom,
and the crime.
Moms who have committed them and or survived them.
This is
Wine Time. The good,
the badass, and the crime.
Hello, Wine Bucket.
Welcome to Wine Time.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
And this is episode 44.
But first, you know how we do.
Come drink with us.
Come wine with us.
And have some freaking fantabulous mom time with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's my favorite word?
Bitch. Why you gotta say it last short, bitch?
Welcome back to Wine Time, everybody. I know how much you have missed us, and we have equally missed you too. You know, we always feel some sort of way when it's going to be a mom topic episode, because I feel like we can actually sit back and not, like, be tense and stress what we are about to be getting into. Actually, I'm stressed about what we're going to be getting into, you know what I'm saying? Just kidding. I'm not. But before that, let's cheers our drink. Heather, what are you drinking in that cup that I see right there?
In this disgustingly dark green,
my favorite color.
Looks like split pea soup green cup. So I am still on my let me drink something relatively healthy while we record. I've already had my coffee today. I'm going to try to avoid the alcohol. So I am drinking a Bolthouse Farms Green Goodness. And it is not great.
It is not goodness. Oh, man.
But I am going to stomach it down because it has a bunch of the veggies I need and lots of good vitamins, and I'm trying to be healthy. And this bottle has like mango and kiwis and apples on it, but I swear I don't taste any of that. But we're gonna push through it. We're gonna push through it because I think after I drink this drink, I will feel very proud of myself and healthy. So we're going to do it. What about you? What are you drinking?
Proud of you. Push through
thanks.
it. So I made this drink just now, and this drink was made with love. Just kidding. I put some ice. I put some spinach. I put some dragon fruit, some pineapple and mango, some aloe vera. Orange juice was the base, and then I put some of the orange pineapple skinny fit powder that I have as the little healthy collagen shit on the inside. And it's not bad. It's not good.
Wow.
It's definitely not good, but I'm going to drink it. It's decent. It is decent.
Okay.
So,
okay.
We're working towards better, because yesterday was shitballs.
Yes.
So this is much better than shitballs, is all there is to say about that.
Okay. You were listing off those ingredients. Oh, the aloe. Did you legit take like an aloe plant?
No.
How did you do that?
I have a bunch of frozen bags of stuff for smoothies in my freezer.
Nice.
And this is actually the first time that I use the aloe. And maybe that's
Nice.
what I do like in there. Because there's something in there that I'm like, absolutely. And then there's something in there that I'm like, definitely got to get rid of that ingredient. So, I'm not quite sure what it is.
Process of elimination. Just try like
Right.
7 different things, taking away one ingredient at a time.
Yeah.
Seeing which one is the culprit.
I don't like orange juice, so I don't know why I do this to myself. That's probably the culprit, but I'm trying to boost that immune system, my dudes.
Yes. You need that vitamin
that's where we're
C.
at. Yeah, that's where
Agreed.
we're at. Hey, do you got a wine for me today? You got something you want to whine about, baby doll?
This is my wine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. I know this is like totally on brand, but like the last 2 days when I get my children home from school, they've just been on one. It's like something's in the water, something is crazy. They get home and they're just like, you know, in moods. And yesterday, my 3-year-old, she comes home from school, she has a cup of milk. And for legit the last, 6 months at least, if not longer, we have like Ovaltine powder and we have like strawberry milk powder. Like so it's like the powder you add to her milk. Okay. So she has decided for like the last 6 months that she wants strawberry chocolate. Like she wants both of them. So we put like a scoop of each into her milk, shake it up. Okay. Yesterday she decided, I don't want chocolate. I want only strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're used to her saying both, my husband made both, and she threw an actual fit. Like this girl was screaming mad, and then my husband was like trying to talk to her. She didn't want to hear it. She was throwing a fit, having a full-blown meltdown over this. And then my husband set down her milk next to her and she shoved it.
Ooh.
And I immediately, because like I had threatened already, like if you can't calm down, you're going to have to just go to your room before you can calm down. And if you can't stop yelling, you're going to have to go to timeout. And then she shoves her milk and I said, that's it, timeout.
Right.
Of course, a further meltdown ensues and took her a while to calm down. Finally, she's calm enough that I can talk to her, explain to her about the chocolate milk situation, explain to her, you know, that if she wants to do that tomorrow, she just needs to tell us, but today it's chocolate strawberry and she's going to have to get used to it. And then asked her, like, why did you get put in timeout? And she said, like, because I wasn't listening. I was like, well, that, and what did you do to your milk cup? And she said, you know, I pushed it. And I was like, are you supposed to do that? No. Okay. We'll do the whole thing. So that ended up being a positive situation. She did, in case you all are wondering, did actually drink that milk because it wasn't actually about the milk, right? There was something else on her mind. And then I felt really bad. So 2 things I felt bad about. One, when I put her in timeout, I have a really bad habit of going, don't do that, like pointing my finger. And it's like, to me, I'm like, that can be like a little threatening. Like I'm pointing it and because she's so little, it's like in her face. And I really want to break that habit of being like, don't do that. Like shaking my finger, especially like in her face. Like I don't like that I do that at all.
Yeah.
So for me, I would like to fix that habit. Like that's also part of my wine. And then the second part of that was eventually she calmed down and then Zach was trying to talk to me about like what we should do for dinner. And my brain, I was like, no, I'm at capacity. Like I can't, like I just used all of my patience and all of my willpower and everything I had to remain calm and walk my daughter through this temper tantrum. And he was trying to like ask me, I'm like, there's no way I can handle this right now. Like my patience level, it's gone. It's gone today. It's gone. Talk to me tomorrow. And I just feel so bad and I feel like with that being said, I have come a long way in terms of my postpartum and the anger associated and just like the irritability and the short tempers associated with said postpartum. But, you know, like it's always gonna be there, I think, until these girls are probably in their teens. Like I'm gonna have that. And so I just, it was like a bittersweet moment because while I was really proud that I was able to handle that situation with my daughter, it was also shitty that like I felt like that was it. I was spent for the night. Like my cup was empty and that was all I had to give. So like 1, you know, I was able to handle it without fully freaking out. But 2, I'm like, that was it. That was my limit today.
For sure.
So that can be difficult. But yeah. So my wine today is just a on topic mom, nor like any mom listening to this with a 3-year-old can probably 100%
relate for sure. No, absolutely. Everyone's like, definitely been there. We feel you. It's okay. It's okay. It's a new day.
Yeah, that's my wine though. What about yours?
No, I don't have a wine. You know what? I've been feeling like shit for many, many days, and today I woke up feeling much better.
Yes.
So I got nothing. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
And that makes me happy. So
That makes
I'm
me
ready.
happy for you. I love that for
Yes.
you.
Love that. Love that.
Do you
Which
see
means-
how thick this pour is?
It is
Let me
thick.
just show you. Like,
Yeah,
look at
show
this
us how thick.
thickness.
What's a thick boy?
Doesn't that
Jeez.
just look like soup?
Oh, no. But also thick.
But we're doing it. Thank
Yep.
you, Bolt House Farms, for your
It's going to be
health.
worth it. You're going to feel so good.
I
after
hope
this.
so. People say that, like, when you have your greens, you feel healthy. And I'm like, fuck that.
If you
Give
go
me
buy the
Taco
green
Bell.
machine, the green machine, that's the one that I like the most.
What brand is that?
Naked.
Oh,
That's a
naked. So
naked
I need to
juice.
get a naked green machine. Okay, I will try that.
Yeah, buddy. All right, so today, you guys, we are going to be talking about co-parenting today. This episode was requested to us, and, you know, it was only a matter of time before we made it happen, of course, right? But I do need to say, just like every other topic that Heather and I decide that we're going to cover, we are by no means professionals or have everything in life figured out, right? So when it comes to these mom topic episodes, we're going to share our stories. If you guys write stuff in, we're going to share your stories. We'll bring whatever information that we find important to share with you guys on this topic. But I just need to make that very clear because I don't want anyone like coming on here and being like, what are you doing? You know what we're doing? We're hanging out. And if you want to hang out with us, that's what we're doing here, okay?
This is a judgment-free zone,
Yes.
and the bottom line is, like Rachel said, we're here to share stories. And if you have a different view or opinion than what we are going to cover today, write it in. Write it in, and we will be happy to share it because, like Rachel said, we're not experts. We're sharing the experiences that we've either had ourselves or our listeners are sharing with us. So we would love to share other opinions and experiences. Write them in because we know that not everyone's story is the same and everyone's experience is the same. We're just trying to cover what we can cover to spread awareness. And that means we will be able to spread more awareness if you let us know what you think. So
absolutely.
Feel free.
Especially if you have a different point of view. Like, we want to add that in here. I just, I felt like I needed to say that because every journey is so different. And we're here to just show you that maybe you're not alone in how you're feeling. Maybe we share something you haven't tried before. Maybe we help you to see that you've done everything and now it's your time to say fuck it all and move on, right?
Yeah.
So either way, we bring you what we bring you. We hope you enjoy it. If you don't, we still love you, okay? So that's how that goes. Now, I want to say the definition of co-parenting, okay?
Do it.
Here's my handy dandy phone. On dictionary.com, it says, co-parent. It is sharing the duties of raising a child. Okay? So I need to make this very clear. You do that with your significant other. You do that with your spouse. You do that with who you're with. Or you do that with who you're no longer with. Right? Or maybe you do that with your friend. Maybe you have a platonic relationship and you do that with your friend. Whatever it may be. Co-parenting can be looked at very, very differently depending on what kind of life you're living, what you're doing, where you're at in that life, right? If you're married, you're co-parenting with this person. But a lot of the times when we hear co-parenting, we're talking especially of the parents who are separated or no longer in a relationship. Right. And that's kind of what we are going to be targeting and talking about today in this episode. All right.
Yes. Yes.
Alrighty.
Thank you for providing that. And to kind of start us off, let's share some statistics about co-parenting. So a lot of what I found actually comes from like government surveys, like census surveys. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to throw some numbers at you guys.
Bring them.
Oh, over 1/4, so like 25%, over 25% of all children under 21 years of age have one of their parents living outside of their household. Okay? So that means like basically 1 in 4 kids has a parenting situation where both of their parents are not inside the household. Okay? Parents settle 90% of child custody disputes without a judge's ruling.
How many?
Like that's
How
90%.
many was that?
90%.
Wow.
I feel like that's really good if it means that like you guys were dealing with, for whatever reason, it didn't work out between the two of you. You're trying to figure out what is best for the child, and 90% people were able to work this out without having to go through an actual judge. So whether that's like just on a personal level, they figured it out, whether they got a mediator, something like that, they were able to figure it out. I'm actually surprised by that statistic.
Me too. I think that's why my jaw just dropped, because I was a little bit shocked. What year are you bringing your statistics
I believe that this is actually the last time. It's actually a little bit older. I think it was like from 2011 or 2012, because I think it comes like the every 10 years. And so they didn't have the most recent ones. Yeah. So, with that being said, I feel like that's pretty good. Pretty good. And power to you. Now, no judgment if you did have to go through a judge. Like, sometimes that's like the best thing. And sometimes that's what both parents want. Both parents want just like the judge to make a ruling so they both know what rules they need to follow. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Okay. So next, 40% of U.S. states aim to give equal custody time to both parents.
Oh.
Right? And that is something
Good.
I guess I didn't expect. Because in general, you see that kind of lean towards the mother. So that's right. That was a bigger percentage than I thought. Now check this one out. Speaking of leaning towards the mother, in 51% of custody cases, both parents agree that the mother should have custody.
I don't know.
I mean, so what it's saying is basically half of the time, both parents agree that the mother should be the one with custody. Right. Now, I know there's different definitions of custody and whether that's physical custody or whatever. So like, I understand that, but that is an interesting thing to me. Maybe like, if it was like a baby who's still like breastfeeding or something, I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into that. That one, that was a surprising statistic to me. I don't know from that standpoint, how the fathers would feel about that, but I'm not a father, so I don't know. And, one more I have here, out of every 5 custodial parents in the United States, about 4 were mothers. So again, this is just going to show that a lot of times things lean towards the mother. And I feel like that one makes sense to me. 4 out of 5 people with custody are the moms, which kind of makes sense to me. Yep. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I have here, it was just this weird thing I found. So, states all have different custody laws, right? Like, it's not like a national thing. Each state is going to have different rules on what and how custody is decided. But I found this really weird situation, and now I'm so mad that I didn't write down the actual state it came from. Crap. I'll try to find it. But this is what ended up being the situation. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
This gets complicated. Okay. It was a 3-person relationship including a married couple, so a mother, a father, and their neighbor. The neighbor became pregnant, and for a while, they were having like a 3-parent household, and it was working for them. However, the 2 women decided to be monogamous, and divorce was like on the table. According to the son, both women, he believed both women were his mom. Like, he referred to both women as his mother, and that threw an additional curveball because the judge wasn't sure how to like decide it. And in the end, the judge did award all 3 parents custody of the kid, and they kind of drafted a parental plan where like all 3 parents basically were sharing custody in this situation.
I feel like I've heard about this, so I don't know from what, but this sounds super familiar to me.
Yeah. Well. And in my situation, and so this kind of gets me in a couple of different ways because look, the kid in this situation said, they're both my mother. He wanted, so by what that makes me think is he's thinking, no, I still want both of them in my life. Right. And if the parents couldn't come up with like the way to do it, so they go to court, as long as they are, and this is going to be, you guys will see, this is going to be the theme throughout this entire episode, as long as they're all putting that son first, and in the eyes of the court, they saw that that is what the kid wanted. So they're trying to also, help and respect his wishes, which is wanting to be with both of his mothers. I think that's great. I think that's awesome that they were able to work out a plan where the kid was able to see all of his parents. And as long as they're maintaining a healthy relationship throughout, then that's what's best. That's probably what's best, right? They make it work for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Man. All right. Ooh, I got a little nervous knowing it's my turn. Just kidding. I'm never nervous.
Well, do you want me to share a quote first? Because I do have some quotes that
you know how I feel about my quotes, girl.
I was going to say, I have some quotes I would like to sprinkle in throughout this episode. So while you are getting ready for your share, let me just sprinkle in this first one. So here's the quote that I found. When you go for co-parenting, always keep in mind that you are not managing an inconvenience. You are raising a human being.
1000%.
Yes.
And
I get that it's obviously not the most convenient situation, right? We would all probably be like, yeah, if everyone could stay together and stay happy and stay in one household and it not be a toxic place to raise a child, that's probably the most convenient for everybody, but that's not the case. And so don't see it as an inconvenience. Just, again, it needs to be the fact that you're raising a human.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Thanks for that, girl. That just really got me ready.
So now that I got you prepped.
Yes. All right. So today, as you guys know, as all of you guys know that have been here, I'm a talker. And, I'm going to give what I can from 2 different angles. Because I have my daughter, and I co-parent with her dad. And then I also am in a relationship, and we co-parent with, his ex-wife and her new husband as well. So I will do my best. Okay. So with my daughter's dad, with Danny, I'm going to say, just like any relationship in life, we have had our ups and downs. I think that that's something that needs to be talked about, because your partner, your family, your friends, your children, your coworkers, literally anyone, okay? Anybody. You are not going to just live every day just perfectly fine with no problems or anything, right?
Right.
Life throws things your way. Things happen. People have feelings. People have bad days, all of that. So the point that I'm trying to make is you can't expect to be problem-free with the person that you're co-parenting with.
Right.
That's how I see it. That's just my opinion, but you can't expect that. But just like every other relationship, you have to have boundaries. You have to have expectations. You have to have an open line of communication. And if you cannot do that, you have to have a mediator. You have to have someone who is going to be that communicator for you guys. Okay? That's just my words of wisdom for you before I
feel like
get
that's
into
a
all the
great,
crazy.
I mean, so I think that's a great piece of advice, even not talking about like your co-parent. That is just, like you said, in general in life, people are people and everything is not going to be peachy keen. And I'm not saying to like expect problems, right? But because that might get you on a defensive 24/7, but just be aware that like they're going to happen.
Right. Yep.
So you're not caught off guard as much as you would hope, like when, you know.
Okay. So
when it happens, because it's going to happen.
It is just like every other freaking relationship. So that's the only point I'm trying to stress is it's not just that.
That's a good point.
So here I am going to say this as well. So for any of you guys that know me and you listen to this because you know me and whatever, if you don't want to hear what I'm about to say, this is your chance to sign off. Okay, so just want to put that out there because
fast forward about
there
5,
might
10
be some
minutes.
people who don't want to hear what I have to say right here. So if that's you, this is your cue. So let's just get into it. I feel, in my opinion, I babied my daughter's dad. I babied my ex-husband for numerous reasons. Okay, we ended. It was mutual. There was no big bang of, whatever. There was just a bunch of little things. And there came a time where we just knew that it was not meant to be. Okay. So I feel like, man, I didn't write a script because I wanted to be candid.
It's good though. You don't want to be like too candid.
I know. Like I said, I feel like I babied him, and maybe that's the wrong word, but I knew I cared about him. I knew I loved him. I knew that I wanted him there for Kenzie. I knew that I wanted to do what I could do to make things as easy and smooth in the transition as possible, okay?
Yeah.
Which sometimes made it harder for me. And eventually there would be days that I regretted every decision I had ever made. I would say maybe I should have been more stern, more hard, more, about me and her. Because I like to look at it as no matter what decision I have ever made, she has been in the forefront of my mind. It's all about her. But sometimes I did make decisions based on him and how he was going to feel over myself. And I am not happy with that per se, but we do really well co-parenting with her. And maybe that's because I did step on eggshells. Maybe that's because I did have to teach myself how to act and how to be with him, even though I don't feel like he was doing the same thing. But I just think that's just how his brain is, and that's just how my brain is. I will say, him and I are fine. We're on good terms. Right. He is a great dad. He is a great person. And we didn't work out, and we're on better terms for that, okay? Right. So, in all, over time, I had to learn more about myself and how I needed to act and be rather than trying to change him or think that anything I said or did was going to make his behavior different, okay? Right. At the same time, like I said, we have ups and downs, just like anything in life. There has been some hard times, right? Because I do see it that if someone wants to be in someone's life, they are going to make a point. And there has been times that, where are the phone calls? Mm-hmm. Where are where are you? Sometimes. And he's been through a lot. He's had a lot of change in his life as well. And I did try to take that into account. but I feel like that wasn't my place. Like, no matter what you go through, you are a parent. You need to step up. You need to do that. Okay. So that's a little bit on that.
I feel like what I hear you saying. So a few things I hear you saying. I know you were like, I don't know if baby is the right word. I think like for me, it's like you were catering to his needs and kind of giving him every opportunity over something for yourself, which like you said, I think that your first goal was to put Kenzie first. But we all know, we've said it before, sometimes in order to put our kids, we got to put ourselves first because, like, we need to be in a better situation. So, A. B, I feel like just having known you and him since high school, I feel like the situation and the way you were saying it, how you said, you were trying to put him first and that wasn't always the case, like, on both sides of the street. Like, I feel like that's completely your personalities. Like, that's like just tried and true to who you guys are as people.
Yeah.
And then, and it's so funny because I literally just talked to Zach about this last night. Becoming a parent, in my opinion, like, it almost puts you further into your personality. Like, if you are a giving person and you are always putting other people first, you can see that happen as a parent even more so. And then if you are a little bit more just self-involved and a little bit more putting yourself in front of other people, that also shows through in your parenting and kind of how you handle situations. And let me say that. The second to last thing I want to say is you're right. It's a very fine line between providing the opportunity to your co-parent and not letting that, like, negatively impact your child. Because at a certain point, you want to provide all the opportunity in the world for them to be involved. And then at another point, if they're not taking those opportunities and the child is old enough, it can very well impact the child, right? So it's a very fine line. It's a very hard place to be. With that being said, I think you do it very well. I am incredibly proud of like you said, you guys had ups and downs, and just to see, and I'm very, very proud of you, and I'm also proud of Danny. He, like you said, he's been through should I have not said his name?
His name's Danny.
His name's Danny. He has been through a shit ton in his life, right? And, like you said, he's a good dad.
Right.
And you guys have come so far. And I think you guys are a good example of how to make shit work, And
we try.
And you are an amazing mom.
Well, thank you. Well, I wasn't done grilling his ass, so let me keep going.
Oh, okay. So let's get into it.
Pour a little bit more of that green drink.
Pour more friggin' split pea soup into this.
I got a couple more things I got to say about this.
I even tried to make, so just a quick sidebar, I even tried to be like, let me pour it in a fancy wine time glass so maybe it'll make it taste better. It absolutely fucking doesn't, but okay.
Look better to feel better, that whole vibe. When I look good, I feel good.
I'm gonna think it till I make it.
Okay. So, co-parenting wise as well. So my daughter's dad so he was in a relationship after him and I split, and he has 2 new baby girls, right? And, things were good in the beginning, which everything has its little phase and everything's fine. But as soon as the babies came, that's a lot. Just like in your relationship, when you are married and you bring a new baby home, that baby's getting all of the attention, right? So that's how my brain worked in that situation. It was really about those girls now, which it is. The newborns are there, but you still have another daughter. And I was the person, I tried to be very vocal and out there and supportive of him and her and them, and that's who I am as a person, and I will never downplay that. That is who I am going to be until the day I die. No one will ever break that I vow to thee. But sometimes, it hurts when
For sure.
things change, okay? So, it seemed like as times passed, the more problems that we had was because of other people in his head. And that's really hard. That's really hard to know that you have to see it that way and see that sometimes, yeah, you're fighting with this person. You're arguing with this person, but it might not be him that's coming up with these words or these feelings or these thoughts. And I had to train my brain to think that way, because to me, it is going to be, yes, if they're together, whoever you're with, you communicate. But it comes down to me and him when it comes to my daughter.
Right.
That is how we have it set up. That's how it's going to be. So I don't care about anyone else's input. You can share it. I might listen to you, but ultimately, that's what it comes down to.
Ultimately, it's an opinion, not a decision. So, thank you and no thank you at the same time.
Yeah. So, there was a lot of different things early on, too, because they ended up moving. They were gone for a little bit. They ended up coming back, whatever. But I tried to be as supportive and encouraging of, we'll make things work. Things will be fine. Do what you got to do. And I still tried to, be understanding. And I'll just say one thing that really bothered me. Sorry if you're listening to this podcast. I don't know if you listen or whatever. I haven't talked to you in years. But something that really bothered me as a mother, and it broke my heart. I cried about it for a long time, is my daughter went to visit them out of state. And it was for Thanksgiving, and this was when
I'm getting sad because I remember this.
Yeah, me and the person, we had followed each other, and it, you know how people post in social media, it shouldn't be such a big factor, but blah, 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 blah. Well, she posts all these pictures of how happy she was to have all her family around, and she posted every single photo with all of these family members, and my daughter didn't make the cut. She didn't post one photo. She didn't post 2 photos. Right. She did the full 10 photos on her social media and didn't put my daughter in one of them, who just drove dates away to be with you. She didn't make the cut. So that broke my heart in a sense, because of everything, I guess, whatever. And I let that bother me. Even after that bothered me, when they moved back, Kenzie was going to have her first haircut. I asked her, I said, do you want to be the one to give her first haircut? It wasn't a priority. You learn to just brush it off, provide and do what you can for your baby. Okay?
Yeah.
With all of that said, when he is single, he's a lot better of a dad. Just kidding. He's in a relationship right now, and he's definitely as around as he can be. We moved out of state. I left, I said peace out, and that's hard for him. But he also is supportive and understands the reason that I moved her. And we try to make it work. When we go back, we figure things out type thing. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is with him. Okay. So don't have much other to say. That's my first story. Second story, I guess I'll try to keep it a little shorter because I feel like I talk too much. So now Joel, I'm in a relationship. He was married before. He has 3 boys who, they're in our lives. Those boys are amazing. I love having them in our lives, right? She's remarried with new babies of her own, and I have nothing negative to say about anything of this situation. She has always been very open and inviting to me and my daughter. Before I had met her, Joel always had nothing but positive things to say about her and her new husband, okay? I felt so intimidated and nervous when first meeting them, because I know that they had a long relationship, and I'm this new person. I'm not only this new person in her life, but I'm going to be this new person in her kid's life as well.
Right.
And that's not easy. That's not easy to allow someone else to come into your children's life. We try to make it as inclusive and bringing everyone together, letting the kids see us get along and us hang out with each other. And that's not normal for a lot of people. And some people look kind of at it as whether it's, oh, you can look at it like, oh, that's fake, or, oh, why are they doing that? They shouldn't be doing that. That's doing too much. Let everyone parent how they want to parent. We enjoy it, or I should speak on my own part, but I enjoy it. I love when all of us are together and we're actually spending time with the four of us and all of the kids. It's the cutest. My daughter calls her two youngest her brother and sister too. Like, it's just so funny. That's just how her brain is. And I think that that's beautiful. Yeah. I think that that's beautiful. So I'm trying to give goods and bads. The one thing that I will say, because I'm such a big communicator person, is like, Joel's the one who does pick up and drop off, and him and her, I don't think they always communicate the best. Yeah. But that could be a him thing. That could be a her thing. Yeah. But I just know for a fact, if I was the one doing pickup, I would need to know, like, this is the time I'm picking up. This is the time that we're meeting. And I swear, I'll be like, oh, are we getting the boys? Or like, what time are you guys going to be back? And he's like, well, I don't know yet. And I'm like, well, how the freaking heck do you not know? Like, it's the day, you know? So he's just like, oh, well, like, I wrote, or I haven't reached out yet, or she hasn't responded yet. And I'm just like, none of this makes sense to me. But then I have to, you know, that's what works for them. So I just tell myself when they come, I'm so happy, and Joel is the one doing the drop-off and pickup, so I don't have to stress about it. I just get to be happy when they walk through the door.
But it's so funny. So what that makes me think of in my brain is how I read this story that Orlando Bloom's first baby mama, it's the model. What's her name?
Don't know anything.
Adriana Lima? No, not Adriana. Is it? Well, whatever. No idea. Orlando Bloom has a baby with a previous, I don't know if they were ever married. And of course now he is married and has a baby with Katy Perry. And his first baby mama was like, I would much rather talk to Katy than him because he's useless. And Katie's the only one that will like we can communicate, and he is just annoying, so like we figure it out. And I love that because you are making it work for the kids. And the other thing that it makes me think of is, like, if people have something to say, like, if people think it's fake, then let it be like, this is how I feel. Fake it till you make it with that, because at the end of the day, what those kids are singing, that's what they need, a cohesive unit, that is what's important. I don't care if it's being faked. I mean, obviously, it's way better if it's sincere, right? For sure. But, like, at the end of the day, if those kids are seeing a cohesive unit, whether it be fake or whether it's not, that is the goal, because you want the kids to grow up seeing a positive relationship, right? Yep. So, yeah.
Okay, I got a couple.
We should write Katy Perry real quick. Let's just find out what her take is on co-parenting.
Let's see if I can invite her on the podcast, because here I am living my best life. With this, all I can say is so far so good. I will always say it. It just needs to be open and clear communication and putting the child first, no matter what, no matter when. That's where my head is with all of that. I do want to say something, because this is just who I am as a person. Back to Danny real quick and his ex. I want to stress and emphasize, or put emphasis on the fact that I take things how I take things, okay? Right. She might not have meant anything negative by the way that she was acting or what she was doing. It might not have been intentional whatsoever, okay? She was a new mom. And as we talk about this constantly on here, motherhood is hard. She up and left, she up and moved. That's hard on people, okay? Yeah. So I want to put that out there, that I don't hold any grudges. I have nothing negative in my heart towards her. I want nothing but the best for her. Whenever I see those twins, I'm in love with those little babies, okay? So they're not babies anymore.
I was going to say, you talk about them like you were like new and they're little. I'm like, they're big now.
They were little. But I need to say that, because I don't have any like animosity or anything hateful in my heart towards her. Okay.
For sure.
So that needs to be said as well. Okay.
Sure.
So that's pretty much my story, which, I don't know if that meant anyone to anything, but that's where I'm at with that. Cause, here we are.
I think it would mean something because there are obviously, we know that there are co-parenting situations that are not ideal. And it's important to stress that at various times throughout both of your co-parenting, there are certain things that are not ideal, like more communication, like this, that, or the other. Like, yes, but at the end of the day, I think what your stories are saying is that, every parent is trying to do the best that they can to put the child first. And that's really what we need to take out of that, right?
For sure. Shizzle my nizzle.
So should I hit you with another quote?
I was going to say, bring another quote before we get into our next portion of today's episode.
Let's do this. This one I thought was very good. So, co-parenting is not a competition between two homes.
Right.
It is a collaboration of parents who are doing what is best for the children. And I love that. I love that so much because I think that it's very easy to turn it into a competition between, mom's house and dad's house. And it should never be seen that way. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yep. That is true. Very true. All right. So now we are going to get into, we tried to do some actual research to not just talk from our our assholes. Just kidding. But these are just a few things that we had found on some websites of different ways to communicate, different kind of parenting, blah, 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 blah. So maybe some of these tips will help. Maybe you're going to listen and be like, okay, obviously, all of that's obvious, and you can go shove it. But we're going to say it anyways. So we're going to start with some tips on communicating with your ex. Because it's important. If you're going to have to do it, you might as well try to take the time to figure out how to do it the right way for all of your sakes, okay? And we're just going to go back and forth. I will start. The first thing is to listen. Listen to the person talking. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is just shut up and listen. Angry listening is okay if that's where you need to be, but think hard about your response before you engage. I think that's something I can speak on personally is I don't feel at times in my life that I was listened to. I feel like a lot of the times when I have stressed or talked about a problem, the person is too busy thinking of what their response is going to be rather than taking in what I am trying to say to them. So they're not hearing me. So that is what I will stress in that. Make sure you are listening and then calculating what your response is going to be, not being ready to rattle off what your next thing you have to say is. Okay? That's first.
For sure. I agree with that. And I think that applies in any situation, but especially,
absolutely,
with how important communication is for co-parents, like for sure. Okay. Number 2, give the other parent the same level of information that you would expect to be provided to you. Which totally makes sense. Again, you guys are still both parents to the same child. Like, it is important to know. So common courtesy is a great way to keep things amicable. Once you set the ground rules about what level of information should be shared, stay consistent. And I think one of the biggest things, do not weaponize withholding information as a means of control, right? Like, you don't want to, like, what this is making me think of is, and it's very sad, what I just thought about. If you guys haven't, please go join our Patreon and listen to the episode on Elaine Park. What this makes me think of, and it's so very sad, is that, okay, her parents were separated, and when she went missing, her dad had to find out from the police.
Yeah.
And that is just, like, that is just
disgusting.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
And withholding that kind of information, that's just so bad. So yeah, like, don't let it come to that.
For sure. 100%. Next, number 3, keep kid conversations focused on kid issues. Okay. It's easy to switch up subjects, especially if something has been simmering in your brain for a while. I feel like you have to just stay focused on what you are trying to get across. You need to stay on topic with this. You don't need to take it elsewhere. Everything that we're saying right now, you can relate as an adult to your conversations. So many times, like, something I could tie this into is you have a problem with another person because they're not doing the dishes. You yell at them, why are you not doing the dishes? All of a sudden, you're fighting about something they said 2 years ago and the fact that they didn't mow the lawn last week.
Yeah.
Why are other things being brought into this, right? So keep it on that one topic. Don't switch gears, mid-conversation. Just keep it there. You have to just keep it right there on what you are talking about.
For sure. Agreed. And like Rachel said, that's in any situation, especially if there is an important issue that needs to be discussed. Like, just say, like, this is the topic we need to discuss. Anything else that might be like on the back burner stays on the back burner until we can get through and resolve what we're talking about now. For sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 4. Don't use your kids as messengers.
Yeah.
Say it louder for the people in the back. I have seen this so many times, and it just hurts your heart because these kids do not deserve to do that. And this is even, like, this is just period. Even if you're still in, like, a relationship with your significant other and you guys are still parenting within the same household, still don't use your fucking kids as messengers. Like, especially on topics like that are not positive, right? So, like, and okay, so I'll just finish reading what the website says, because I could go on about that. But that's a chicken thing to do, man or woman up, as the case may be. Placing your children in the middle only adds stress to their lives, obviously, and increases the potential of the wrong message being conveyed. They're kids. I mean, this is the most dangerous game of telephone. And it also abdicates a responsibility that is yours. It's your responsibility, not your child's, to make sure messages are sent and received. It is not up to the kid. Like, that is you, and that's on your shoulders.
Right. Yep. Everything. Think about the kids. Think about the kids.
For real.
Right. And why is that not just the first thing in your head?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Number 5. Make requests instead of demands. How you say things to another person matters. Whether it's your tone, whether it's literally the words you are saying, but how you say something matters. And if you come aggressively or you come out of left field, if you come a certain way, no one's going to hear what you're saying. Right. So in this example, what is being given is try framing things as, would you be willing to give up Thanksgiving Day in exchange for taking the kids on Christmas Eve, even though we've already worked out other arrangements? If you're giving options or coming as a question rather than just like, well, I need them on that day, so change me or trade me or whatever. It's the way that you do things. And guess what? Maybe they'll still say no, but I feel like there might be a little bit more of a thought process there if they're not attacked.
Like, for sure.
Right. Yep.
Versus just
don't attack the other.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's fair. I mean, what do they say? You catch more flies with honey, right? So for sure. And I think that also is a good, I mean, especially depending on how old your kids are, like, if you see your mother and father requesting these things of each other and then acquiescing or maybe compromising in a different way, that's also like a positive modeling for the child to see it done in that way. So it's like a win-win when you're doing it like that. Okay.
Yep.
Number 6, don't dredge up past problems or touchy subjects related to the kids. So we kind of touched on this before, but like stay focused on the present so you can solve whatever issue is at the forefront. There is no need to bring up past issues or concerns. You know, just stick to the topic at hand and let the rest of the shit go. Like, it's not worth it.
Yep. Yep. It's really not.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. Number 7, stay away from the blame game. Just stay away. Yeah, definitely do not start with the whole, you never do this or you always do that. It's not going to go anywhere good. If you criticize, you accuse or blame, going to be a problem. And especially, I mean, no one wants to hear that. Definitely don't do anything like that in front of your children either.
Right.
They don't need to be a witness to that, which I will get into that a little bit more later. I have something on that too. But do not do the blame game. And it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere.
That is like just bad for everyone around.
And I'm not saying you can't blame them and you can't hold a certain thing because sometimes it is someone's fault for something.
Yeah.
But if it's talked about and it's moved on from, then you gotta move on from that. You're not gonna keep saying you never do this or you always do that. If
it's only gonna drag shit out. Yeah, it's not
for sure.
Yeah.
If it gets that bad, move on and have someone else be your communicator for you guys, because
for real.
it is not. No.
Yeah. Okay, number 8. Set your anger and hurt aside. I know easier said than done, but I mean, it's the truth. Being adult is hard, and being a parent, it's that much harder.
Yes.
But it's really important that you're setting a lot of those, negative emotions aside for the good of the kids. And, when you're communicating with your co-parent, like, you don't need to be doing it, from an angry place. Like, even if your guys' situation was particularly ugly and toxic, like, obviously it's going to be harder for you to communicate positively with them. But, like, kids are picking up on any of that. And when you're leaving those negative emotions into any of the communications or actions that you're having as a co-parent, it's only going to make it worse for your kids, not better. So it's just important to put, especially if it has nothing to do with the child, right? Like, if you're angry at them or you're mad at them for something that happened during your guys' relationship that has nothing to do with the kid, like, super, just like, I mean, you got to let it go for the sake of the child.
Yes, for sure. Number 9. Don't weaponize your children against your spouse. Oh my God. Yes, do not do that. Okay? Whether you were with that person for a while, whether you were with that person for a day, whatever it is, do not use your child to try to hurt, push buttons, get a rise out of them. It is not an okay situation, okay? You're not only hurting the other person, you're hurting the child. The child should not have to be a part of this. It's not okay to do. When you weaponize your child as a way to inflict emotional pain on your ex, not only are you not playing by the rules, that pretty much makes you a crappy human being on all counts. I had to say that part. It's nasty. Don't do that, okay? Be better than that. Be better than that. That's all. Yep. All right. Hit him with the last one.
All right. Last one. If you need to vent, as we all do at times, it's the name of our show, do it with someone else.
God, please.
I mean, like, you should definitely communicate with your co-parent, and if it's something that needs to be put out there in order to solve a situation regarding your child, obviously do that. But like all the emotional baggage, do that somewhere else. It's so funny because literally my next quote that I was going to share after this, and we didn't even plan this, you guys. This is just how in sync Rachel and I are. Here is the quote that we're gonna end on this on. The best, most mature co-parents will tell their therapist, not their child, how much the other parent sucks, right? There's a time and a place to vent your frustrations about your co-parent, and it is to your therapist. It is to your best friend. It is to us, if that's what you want to do. It is definitely not to your child, and it's really not to your co-parent either, because if you need to communicate something in order to solve a situation, that's one thing, but you don't need to be venting to them, right? Like, this is, like, leave that for your therapist. Or your wine time besties, because we're here for it. We're here for you.
Okay, I've got something for you real quick. Which, if my ex is listening to this podcast, I've got something for you real quick. Hey, Danny, stop venting to me about the child support that you have to pay your ex because you're not paying me child support. He feels like he can talk to me about this, which, you know, we have a very open communication, but I swear, every single time that he starts venting about stuff, anytime he brings up, like, money to her, I'm just like shut up. Can you shut your face? Anyways, so stop that, dude.
That is so funny.
Which, that's a me thing. I could have absolutely done something, changed something. So, again, that is also a me thing. But it's just so funny because, like you said, you can vent to certain people. Don't vent to me about that. Okay,
yeah,
my guy?
For sure.
Okay.
Fair.
Okay.
I feel like that's fair.
With everything that we just said, they're just tips. They're just helpful things. Maybe you need them. Maybe you don't. Literally, we will put this site that we were getting these things from in the show notes. It has 132 tips, okay? These were just the top 10.
We know you wanted us to read all 132, but we just stopped at the top 10.
That would be if we were going to create a 24-hour podcast for you guys, which is not happening today. I already got to pee. Okay. So, Heather's gonna read something for you guys too, but I just want to say, so if you're in a situation that is not okay, if it's toxic, if it's a narcissist you're dealing with, if it's someone you just hate for other reasons, yet you still have to co-parent with this other person, here's what I think you should do, because what I think matters. Or at least you should look into this if you are not aware of it, okay? So this is parallel parenting, and by definition, this means it involves completely disengaging from the other parent and avoiding conflict through controlled communication. Heather, go at it.
Right. So we're not going to look at, like, how to co-parent with a toxic ex. What we're going to look at is how you can parent alongside your ex. So again, this is like parallel parenting. If you need to disengage for whatever reason by completely just uninvolving yourself from their life, except to, you know, communicate that need to know information about your child, visitation schedules or medical issues or whatever, like that, you know, sometimes that's what needs to happen, and that is fine, because if you and your co-parent cannot healthily communicate, then don't, and just let it be accomplished in other ways. So the way that you can parallel parent is by ensuring that any arrangements are very specific, and that the communication is done in a non-direct manner. So, like, you're not calling up the person and having a live conversation with them. Maybe you're emailing them. Maybe you're leaving it in a text message. Or maybe you're using a mediator. I mean, I've seen it where, like, both parents have to communicate through grandma or, you know, something like that. Definitely, like, you're not communicating through the child, right? We already said children are not messengers, but we do understand that sometimes it has to be like that, and that is what's best for everybody involved, because if you can't talk to a person for 2 seconds without the both of you blowing up, then don't talk to that person. Let there be a mediator. Let there be a non-confrontational way to communicate. And, you know, sometimes it just has to be like that.
Yeah, it does. And if it does, it's a thing. It's an option for you to go to court, get, you know, a court order saying just that. Okay. They give you all the specifics on the visitations, the access, the custody, whatever, so that it's written in stone and you don't have to question anything.
Right.
It is what it is. You don't go back and forth. It is, this is the time, the place, the date, the this, the whatever. If you are in a very messed up situation, if you feel like you have gotten to the point of no repair, maybe this is your option. And maybe this is your option momentarily. Maybe you guys need a break from each other until you guys can get at a level of healthy communication.
Right.
Okay? It doesn't have to be the rest of your life, the rest of your child's life. Okay? But maybe for a time being, this is what you need. Okay?
I think that's a very important thing to say. And something else, like, all co-parenting, no matter how you do it, and parallel parenting, right? You have to be ready for the situation to change as it may need to change. So just because you have something and that's the way it works and you know, life changes, kids grow up, schedules change, and you as a person may change. So yeah, if it takes, you know, a couple months, a couple of years of needing a break from your co-parent and, you know, having someone else do the communicating for you, then that's what it needs to be. And then if, as you guys start to live your lives and things get a little bit better, then, and you guys can go back to communicating face to face, then that's also the case. But you have to be ready to, like, let things come as they are.
Right. Yep. So one of the last things that I have on here is do not give in. As a parent, your first and most prized possession is your baby. So do not give in when dealing or talking with or working with another person, a parent in this situation, okay? Because it's hard, but people can be toxic. And in situations like this, people can enjoy a reaction out of you. And they might do everything that they can to poke and prod until you blow up or you give them the reaction that they are looking for. So in this situation, that is where the parallel parenting is going to be much easier for you guys, okay? And sometimes you're going to want to lash out and attack your toxic ex because you've been through a lot.
Because
you've been through a lot and it's there. But you don't need your child to see this or experience this. Trust me, it's not something that they need to be a part of. They have their own struggles. They are dealing with a lot. I mean, childhood is a lot in the first place. Bring divorce, bring separation, bring anything else into the factor.
Yeah.
It is a lot to deal with. So you have to just give your all to not be the burden or not be the person that is creating or causing anything extra in their lives. You have to be the role model for your little ones. You have to be calm. Show them that you can have civil interactions or healthy, positive interactions if you are capable and able to do that. If you're not, don't let them see the negative interactions, okay? That it's just, I think that that's huge. You just have to keep your child out of the negative aspect of co-parenting. If you and the other parent have an issue, you have the issue, okay? Your child should never, ever feel that weight or the negativity. It can already be hard enough on a kid experiencing, like I said, a divorce or separation or whatever. Separate homes, not seeing the parent as much as they wanted to or once did, all of that. They don't need to feel that. You need to be a safe place. You need to be a place that they feel comfort and all of the good, happy, positive vibes.
Right.
Even if you're not feeling that inside.
Right.
You could be screaming on the inside, but your child should never, ever feel that. You gotta do that for them. So make it work. That is
one thing
what I have on that part.
One thing I want to say, with this. So I myself, right, I am not in a co-parent situation. And I mean, knock on wood, I'm lucky enough to come from a household where my parents are still together as well.
Right.
With that being said, obviously, like the statistics show, I have known my fair share of families who, weren't in a situation like mine. But I will also say this. When I was an adult, I was a young adult, I was working with two girls, and I was listening to them talk about the fact that both their parents are divorced. And they both said the most amazing thing. They both said, both of them said, I'm happy that my parents divorced because both of my parents are so much happier when they're not together. And it was by them being in a happier situation, they made my life growing up that much more happy, and they're thriving, they're happy. They were always, and I mean, I know that this can't be the situation for everyone, but their parents stayed on good terms so that the kids, because there was multiple kids, so that the kids would still be able to live their best lives. And I just found that so amazing that, both of these girls' parents, okay, it didn't work out between them, but they found a way to make it work. And both of their kids are very well-adjusted adults because their parents figured out how to positively raise them co-parenting. Yeah. And I think that's just so important that the final thing, when your kid grows up, if you're in a co-parenting situation, when your kid is an adult, you want them saying that shit, right? You don't want them going to therapy saying, my parents had a very, very bitter divorce and I was put in the middle of it, and then my mom did this and then my dad did that and I'm all fucked up for it. Like, you want your kid to grow up and say, no, I'm happy my parents got a divorce because they're both happier and I lived a better life because they were, both happy and living, and thriving. And that's what you have to think about. Like, you ultimately have to think about the fact that, like, you don't want to be the toxic parent that your kid is. Your kid's going to have enough shit to talk about you in therapy. Right. Like, don't let this be one of the reasons.
You're right. I mean, we as people, we all go through things and experience things and struggle and feel things differently, whatever. So I guess with everything that was just said, with everything we went over, with my experiences, with the tips that we threw at you, whatever, the advice, all you can do, or all I can say to you that I think would be the best is, no matter what, put that child first, those children first. Yeah. Make sure that whatever you are doing is in their best interest, and make sure that you are not being selfish in those decisions, because sometimes you might go through something and you might hate that person, but they're a good parent. You don't need to take them from their lives because they did something. You know what I mean? There's that aspect of it too. So you have to do, number one, what did I say number one was? I already forgot because my brain's at number two.
Put the kid first.
Put the kid first. Number two, in their best interest, make sure that your decisions are about them and not about you, okay? What is best for them. And then figure out whatever form of moving forward you guys are going to work on or figure out whatever form of communication, whether that means you guys come up with a plan that works for you. Maybe that means the court comes up with a plan for you. Maybe that means you guys can never talk to each other and someone else comes up with that plan for you. Okay?
Right.
But figure it out as quickly as you can so that your children are at peace. So that your babies are in a safe place and they don't have to feel the negativity, the toxicity, the problems, the struggles that are going on with that. There's already enough going on in their world. Okay?
Right.
And that's my speech on that shit, my dude. Yeah, so that is today's episode. Not sure if that's what you were expecting, but here it is. And if you guys got any other mom topic ideas that you want us to go over or discuss or talk about, please send them in. I mean, like I said at the beginning of this, we're not professionals, but I do like talking about this stuff because I hope that anyone who's listening does take this and be like, oh, I can look at that differently, or God, yeah, I should definitely try that, or fuck, I still hate him, and oh, this is the worst.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then feel free to write in your stories, vent to us, talk to us. If you feel like you have no one to talk to, remember, venting to them is not the problem. Vent to us. You know?
Anyone going through a co-parenting situation, whether it's new or whether you've been thriving in it or however, you know, it's tough. I feel for you. I can't imagine, you know, all the different extra hoops that you're having to go through, and just, you know, more power to you. And I hope that for the sake of your kids, you're making it work.
Yep, for sure. 100%. Until next week, you guys know where you can find us over on Instagram and TikTok at wine_time_pod. How do you spell that, Heather?
WHINE_time_pod. And if you have any co-parenting stories you want to share with us, or if there's another topic that you're interested in, or if you have a crime you want us to deep dive cover, in addition to hitting us up on our social medias, you can always email us at winetimemoms@gmail.com, WHINE timemoms@gmail.com. Until then, we will be bringing it back next week with more wine time fun.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Until next week, we will talk to you later.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Hey, love you. Bye. What was that song? Bitch.
What's our favorite word? Bitch. Why you gotta say it like short? Bitch.